All right. Welcome everybody to the Stoned Fruit Roll-Up. We have been here over a year, going weekly live on YouTube and also on LinkedIn. This is the show. You're watching the show about building the show that you're watching right now. Today is no exception. In fact, it is as meta. You're watching the show about building the show that you're watching right now more than almost any other show we've done so far in our repertoire, because it's essentially a strategy meeting about what is the show, what's it all about, what's happening here, why don't we have any plans. We're just literally throwing spaghetti against a wall. Yes, that was our original intention. Let's experiment. Let's come at it with some sort of purpose and direction, but let's experiment. Let's try different formats. Let's try different lengths. Let's add music. Let's try different camera formats. Let's do write with me's. Let's do solo shows, etc. Let's do segments. Let's do spin-offs. Let's do takeovers. And we have done all of that, and that is not stopping anytime soon. However, it's time for our weekly YouTube and LinkedIn show, Stoned Fruit Roll-Up, to grow up. We met, I'm not sure, 6 weeks ago. We'll put a link to the show in the show notes, where Kathleen Stewart, Jill Mokes, and Tony Pareco and I all got together to do a bunch of ideation around what is the show. And then we got super, super meta and said, let's do positioning. The art of positioning is to answer the following questions. Who are our people? What do they need? Who are we? What do we deliver? And why are we special, different, or the one? That is the process by which we take all of our clients in order to write effectively for them and create an emotional connection. And if you've been following me for even just a hot minute, you'll know that I do positioning statements for literally everything, including as basic as a Calendly call up to a major program or initiative. I'm not like, this isn't some innate skill that I was born with and just kind of came out to shoot a magical positioning and messaging maestro or magician who's able to, extract all of this essence and articulate it in brand. Someone taught me how to do it, and I teach as many people how to do it as will listen. However, I have never seen anybody as skilled and naturally talented with positioning as our girl, Kathleen Stewart, my co-host here on this show. So without further ado, I'd like to bring Kathleen out to kick off our conversation about what is this show. Kathleen has done the hard work of repositioning based on our discovery and what we've learned about producing the show and who our people are and what they actually need. And we're just going to have a big old-fashioned strategy meeting live. Womp, 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 womp. Welcome, Kathleen. Hey, girl.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
First of all, thank you for that lovely compliment. I totally fangirled backstage. I was like, oh, that's me.
That's you. That's you. You're very talented. How did you learn? When we first got together, you were really talking about these in the framework or just the name for it with value proposition statements.
Mm-hmm.
In your opinion, is there a difference between a value proposition and a positioning statement done in this kind of stone fruity way of who are people, what do they need, who are you, what do you deliver, why are you special, different?
No,
are those two different things?
No, I think the way that they're done here is pretty similar, but the actual difference between a value proposition and a positioning statement is the positioning statement is more like a personal thing and not outwards, as where your value proposition is the thing that goes on the website to say I help blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's internal. It's internal.
What? Yeah, so you take the opinion,
sorry,
go. That's okay. So you take the internal piece and then you turn it into something to make it external.
Why do you think it's important that a positioning statement retains its internal status? Why does that matter in your opinion?
Why is it important for it to be there in general?
Why is it important for a positioning statement to be an internal thing? Why wouldn't you just
why wouldn't you just have an outwards one? I think like the one that's internal goes like a little more in depth about like who you want to help, why you're doing it, how you're helping them. It kind of, I find, goes right back and connects with your values and your why. And to have that piece of information to kind of just summarize everything to see, um, really will help guide every single thing that you do in your business for that program or that whatever you're doing. Like you said earlier, you've done them for big stuff and you've done it for little things. Like I've seen you position literally everything.
Literally everything. Who, what, why, where, and how.
Yeah. So
If
like
you, if
everything
you
that
don't
I
do,
have
if you don't
has a
do that,
positioning statement now.
exactly right. And that should guide you and
Yeah.
inform how you do a thing. I'd also add that the reason I think that positioning statements need to be thought of as internal, and you articulated it beautifully, like, and then we'll turn it into something external. Why we need to think about it as internal is that it gives us some bravery and confidence that we just start to erode when we think
Yeah.
who's going to see this, who's going to be offended, who's like, if I get so specific like this, am I going to turn off an audience? And as we start to
Yeah.
second guess ourselves, then we dull it down, we make it more
Yeah.
vanilla, we make it more palatable, and then suddenly the brand is boring as hell, underdeveloped,
Mm-hmm.
or very, very anemic. So if you encourage folks to think this is an internal thing, they'll be more honest, they'll be more real, they'll be
Yeah.
more genuine with it. And that by that process, you'll be bursting at the seams to share it, because it doesn't have to feel like your own private, this is my own
Mm-hmm.
private share because it feels so right. So that's why I think positioning statements
Yeah.
are internal.
I feel like it's kind of like a diary entry about like your business, where you can be completely honest about things and put all the details there so that you can just tell like bits and pieces and be comfortable with sharing other parts outside of it.
Exactly. It's like the 5 points of a star almost. That you can
Mm-hmm.
always kind of mix and match how you combine that messaging, but because you were intentional about articulating it,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes very, very real. Also, the process of positioning forces you to figure your shit out. And here we
Yeah.
are. Why do we have to figure our shit out for the Stoned Fruit Roll-Up, the show you're watching right now, about building the show you're watching?
Why do we need to figure it out? Well,
Yeah,
first of all, we need to know what we're doing. We need to know what people need to know what to expect from us so they can tune in and want to be like a part of it. And I think really we just need to know what the hell we're doing.
agree. You don't
We
like to
can't
not.
put
Well, you don't like to not know what the hell we're doing. That's not your
Mm-mm.
jam. If
No, that turns me into a ball of nerves. I can go with the flow to a certain extent, but like not really.
Well, thank God you're here, because otherwise it would still just be me being like, we're wildly experimental, we're doing the thing. So it's been really fun to kind of put this in your capable hands and see what you come up with for the direction of the show. It feels very stone fruity that we've all come together in a
Mm-hmm.
co-creation space rather than just like the visionary says what we're going to do, beep, beep, boop, and then that's what happens. Because what's the point of doing it, honestly, if we're not
Mm-hmm.
having fun and creating? So this is all
Well,
you, this is all you, girl.
I'm really honored that you asked me to write it. I wasn't expecting that at all because you're like the queen of it all and you've written all of mine. So when you asked me, I was like absolutely like death dropped. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
one,
no.
again, you've got a talent for it. I'd like to develop that talent. I'd like to develop
Yeah.
that skill, give you something that's will help you up level your own business as well
Yeah.
as we grow here at Stone Fruit. So seeing you do kind of your your take on positioning was the first time, as I shared with you before, offline or privately, it was the first time I ever saw scalability or the ability to
Yeah.
do more than just like, Rebecca Gunter one man one man accordion monkey machine, doing the
Yeah.
thing. So I was chomping at the bits for opportunities for you to be able to practice and, just play around in the Play-Doh, see what you come up with.
I think I did okay. I think I did pretty okay. I did like a vanilla chocolate. I think I did a butterscotch. Um, well, whatever, they're always a work
Yeah,
in progress.
yeah, indeed. And you have to start somewhere. And
Yeah.
for the folks at home who are wondering, what is Kathleen talking about, vanilla, chocolate, and butterscotch? Through our process of doing positioning, it's essentially defining your brand in the Stoned Fruit way. After doing a deep discovery with the client, which generally takes about like 90 minutes of intense curiosity driven question asking to try and shape things to answer those questions. Who are your people? What do they need? Who are you? What do you deliver? Why are special, different, or the one? And then instead of just prescribing, I'm the brand strategist and I know what to do. So here's
Yeah.
positioning based on what you told me. The more successful outcomes come when then you kind of create three. I like to do three, so I like to triangulate and design in three. I've done up to 7 of them before for one client, trying to get one right. So it's not like that's the magic number, but it's a great container to put it in. Where I'll write one, or we'll write one, I should say, because you're in the mix now. Write one, and then you stop and you write another one right after that. That has to be different. Everything kind of has to be different in it. They all have to be absolutely true and a little aspirational at the same time, and then start again, write a third one. I think just the writing process there of like, do it, do it,
Yeah.
then do it again differently, then do it again differently, opens up a bunch of ideas that you might not have had if you were like, I just want to do my homework and turn in a sentence. And it gives the other person the opportunity to really co-create with the final list because you've put all the tiles on the table for us to play with. So generally we try and do one that's like very straightforward, kind of bottom baseline, satisfies the assignment, vanilla version. And some people want that super straightforward. Some people want something with a little bit more flavor but isn't too out there. And then some people want something that's super avant-garde, different, original. You haven't heard it that way before. The language is totally unique. Sometimes we're positioning for an inanimate object or a future idea or the children of the world or whatever. And that's fun too, because you've then tried, should this brand be a little bit more out there? Oh, I've tried that on and actually it didn't feel good. So,
Yeah, I think that's the best part about doing like the 3 different types is when you do that, you really figure out what words make you comfortable and how like you perceive your brand.
Exactly.
Or you want other people to perceive it.
Exactly. It's just putting tiles on the table that you can play with. Something you would either feel comfortable saying or something you're like, I wouldn't normally say it that way, but heck yeah, those are my words now.
Yeah. I think it's just the best. Like I had a hard time going and I had a hard time doing 3 of them.
Yeah.
Not because like doing 3 is hard, but I have an emotional like attachment to this business. So of course I'm going through it and I'm trying to perfect one, but I'm like, Kat, it doesn't need to be perfect. Rebecca and I are going to do it anyways. We need something simple, something a little more complex, and then something a little more out there.
This is exciting. This is exciting. Are you ready for show and tell?
Yes. Let me see how the heck to do this.
Let's not keep the viewers at home live on LinkedIn and also on YouTube here on the Stoned Fruit Roll-Up with me and Kathleen, or folks watching the replay in anticipation too much longer because We're going to take a
Sorry,
look.
give me a second. It's
Take
telling
your
me I
time,
have to
darling.
modify my settings.
Take your time, darling. Modifying your settings is something that could come up when you're doing a live show.
It tells me I have to quit and reopen. I'll be right back.
Take your time. I'll just keep on talking. Do your thing.
Jeez Louise.
Oh boy. What is the show going to be? Hey, by the way, we're going to take a little break once we've done this. Once we've done this positioning and messaging revamp, we're going to take the summer off to actually construct the show with intention, the way that it needs to go. Sneak peek, pro tip, I think we're going to be doing a lot more segmentation. That's something that came up a lot during our discovery. What kind of different segments could we put together to keep the show more interesting? Hey, guess who's back?
Hey!
And through the power of television,
I should have known that was going to be a thing because,
we're live.
They did it last time. I know.
That's okay. I was telling anyone who was still kind of here waiting for the magic to happen that we're going to be doing a lot more segments, I think. Look how exciting.
Okay.
And it's on an
I don't know why I can't have both open at the same time. It just keeps going very tiny for me, but I will figure it out.
Okay. Maybe we can increase the font.
Yes. Oh my gosh, where did it go? I am struggling today.
Well, guess what? You're in a safe space. You don't have to worry about any kind of reaction. You can take your time. I'll continue talking about my prognostications of what I think the show will be when we relaunch on September 12th. We're taking the summer off, you guys, to retool and be intentional and conscientious about how the show is going to go. And to add production value, we'll be enrolling intergalactic intern Saturn on summer break to be helping us get all of our ducks in a row. What would you say in Fruitland instead of ducks in a row? All of our pits lined up, all of our cherry stems in the same direction, shall we say? All of our lychees in line.
Oh my God.
Alliterative way of talking about it. And creating some very cool segments. I am seeing commercials for Stoned Fruit related projects and joint ventures. These are produced. I'm seeing more UK all day. I'm seeing best in brand stuff. I think maybe Kathleen has a segment that's called What the Hell? What the hell is that? Something along those lines.
Yeah, I hope so. I think that's funny.
We're aiming for funny. Why? Because if you have your eyeballs on the show right now, audience at home, you are few and far between, because who wants to watch another marketing and business show? Let's make a better commercial. Look at you. Add to the stars.
Oh my God. That was so ridiculous. Okay, so what ended up happening was I'm not good at using this Mac. I just got it. I'm trying to figure it out. But somehow I did something that makes everything kind of show up on the right-hand side. And whenever I pop one thing up, everything else hides. So I don't know. Can you see it?
We can see that there is a document. Can we read what that is? No, but that's okay. You can. Oh my God! Look at you.
There you go. That's at 40.
That's at 40. 40. 40 is fabulous.
Okay, so this is the first one I did. It says, for entrepreneurs who want real talk, a dash of inspiration, and a sprinkle of humor in their business journey, the Stoned Fruit Roll-Up is your weekly variety show that ditches the shoulds of business and uncovers the strategies that actually work. We deliver honest conversations, practical takeaways, and laughs to lighten the entrepreneurial load.
Lighten the entrepreneurial load. I'm loving that. That's exciting. What do you think that people need here in this one? What's the need, in your opinion?
The one thing that they need from us?
that they need that the show will solve, the problem the show will solve for them. In this version.
I'm live. Could you not? Thanks.
Families, people working from home, real talk.
So we have all the kids home today for some reason. Perf. So what entrepreneurs really need from us?
Yeah,
I think because
in
that's
this
who I think
version.
that's.
You thought what?
I think they need strategies.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll get into it. Why do they need strategies? Why can't they just take a course or sign on to sign up for B school or B do whatever? What does the Stoned Fruit Roll-Up bring that just kind of cracking a book or opening the internet or doing a Google search or being in a Facebook group do for you?
I think that, well, this part here, like we deliver honest conversations and we don't gatekeep stuff. Like I think people, whoever would watch this understands that like we're honest about what we talk about in our experiences.
Why would they care?
Because people are tired of being sold bullshit.
So is it to you about making a better commercial, or is it to you about building a better entrepreneurial experience, or is it about not operating in a silo and feeling less lonely in the journey?
I'd go with number 2.
Which
I already forgot, but I put my fingers like this so I would remember the answer.
I forgot number 2. Being a better business person, feeling less alone in the entrepreneurial journey, and maybe connecting with other people who are doing the thing. And maybe those are all kind of a mesh together. But somebody
I think that's
who
all kind of a mesh together. I think that like people would watch us for the fact that we're honest about all of our experiences. We value other people who are honest about their experiences, and we're like really pro amplifying everybody's voices, but we do give them practical takeaways for our stuff. Like if you look at the way that the past year has been, like shows about building the show, a majority of our stuff has been people like showcasing practical stuff.
And do you think that that's been valuable or interesting? And the answer can be no, I won't cry.
I do think it's valuable and interesting, but I do think it's been pretty chaotic.
Yep. That's kind of how it goes. Turn on live and just see what happens. And that's why we're here right now. I would only just push back on you to say, like, business shows with practical tips and strategies, like turn on YouTube. They're everywhere. I mean, even when I was a part of 100 TV, I was one of 22 shows that were all about how to be better at business. What makes this one special?
Us.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Us. And so is the value strategy or is the value entertainment?
I'd say entertainment because I think we're entertaining.
I agree. So I'd love to see entertainment show up in here over strategy.
Well, there's a variety show right here.
Okay, well that doesn't say entertainment, girl. I'm just saying.
I thought they were interchangeable. I used variety show because I thought that was like an entertaining thing.
Well,
okay,
a variety show can be entertaining, but not everything that's entertaining is a variety show.
that's true. Okay,
Just saying. That's just my feedback on this one. It's like,
okay,
what do they really need? Maybe it's to feel less like on the hamster wheel, of just like hustle culture. Maybe it's to take a breather from hustle culture, or maybe it's to be entertained by some goofballs who just want to use business as a vehicle, or
yeah,
maybe it's to kind of see how somebody else is doing it. But
mm-hmm.
I doubt that's a very strong reason, even though that's the reason we gave for a full year.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Let's keep it moving.
Okay, you want to do number 2?
Yeah, I sure do.
For entrepreneurs tired of playing it safe and ready to shake up their industry, the Stoned Fruit Roll-Up is your unfiltered dose of business rebellion and real world insight, delivering you raw stories, bold strategies, and the kick in the you need to own your unconventional path.
I'm liking this one.
Yeah?
I'm liking Rebellion, which to me is enrolling in a group with shared interests.
Yeah.
So, shared interests, a motivational, it's kind of like you have to see it to be it,
Mm-hmm.
brave, bold, and brash edition, or unpopular idea edition. Um,
Mm-hmm.
owning your voice, I think, is showing up here. Again,
Mm-hmm.
I can only see so much through our little shared screen, but just from hearing you and talking to you about it, that this one is very strong to me. What's the because only again?
Um, I'm gonna say it's the need for their unconventional path. Or
What does it read the whole thing to me one more time?
for entrepreneurs tired of playing it safe and ready to shake up their industry, the Stone Fruit Roll-Up is your unfiltered dose of business rebellion and real world insight, delivering you raw stories, bold strategies, and the kick you need to own your unconventional path.
Why does somebody need that?
Their own unconventional path.
Yeah,
I don't.
because
Okay, like
because
fully truthfully, I don't think people need their own unconventional path. I think there's just a type of person who makes their own unconventional path. Like they just don't fit into the box of what the norm is.
I would just push back on that and argue a little bit that for some of us it is a need. For example, once Jill was chastising me and said, if anybody has ever done something before, you don't want to do it. Like
Yeah.
my just absolute abhorrence of like been there, done that, mediocre, unoriginal, phoned in is a
Mm-hmm.
huge driving force in how I do things. And to my own chagrin, or my own hoisted by my own petard, if I continually insist on reinventing the wheel, everything
Mm-hmm.
kind of can feel sloppy and disorganized and chaotic, and the messaging can be hard to digest or receive. So, maybe in a way, we're doing the Lord's work here of helping someone who refuses or dare not
Yeah.
be, boring, find their footing, or find a comfort zone, or find their people, or find just like a rest stop on the entrepreneurial highway where other folks also are very driven by the need to be
Yeah.
rebellious or different. I'm liking that,
Okay. Fair
girl.
enough.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. I'm liking that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They all start with
Okay.
for entrepreneurs because that's the
Okay.
only thing I could think of. Okay. For entrepreneurs who refuse to be another boring brand and crave a side of sass with their business advice, the Stoned Fruit Roll-Up is your weekly shot of entrepreneurial audacity and real-world insight that delivers you uncensored, uncensored conversations, unconventional wisdom, and the fuel to light a fire under your business butt.
Girl, yes. Yes to this one.
I told you
Yes,
I loved the butterscotch one.
yes to this one. I think that we could do a little bit more work on like who are these entrepreneurs. So beyond
Yeah. I
entrepreneurs.
didn't really have like an idea for like I didn't know, to be honest, so I just kind of went, ooh.
Well, that's normal and part of the process.
Yeah.
If anyone is at home trying to come up with positioning statements to define something, this absolutely is kind of part of the rub of it is like, well, who? And just about any business coach worth their salt would be like, who are your people? You have to figure
Yeah.
out who it's for and what they need before anything else happens. What are some words do you think that would maybe describe this type of entrepreneur? Because we're not necessarily for a Bill Gates type. We're very
Oh
kind of,
gosh, no. It's very specific.
well, let's get specific. What are some words you
Um,
have?
well, bold.
Mm-hmm.
Like I tried to like throw them in here. Like they're sassy, they're bold, uncensored. Like I was trying to think back to like kind of who you and I are and our similarities and all of that.
Okay, so if you and I are the target, and I think Jill would remind us all that when will people realize they're their own best client? So let's say that we're the own best client for the Stoned Fruit Roll-Up. What kind of entrepreneurs are we?
Um, Wild, loud. We take up space. I would say that we're not uncomfortable with sharing our opinions. We are actively seeking out better ways to do things. We're not satisfied with the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're, I want to say we're pretty grand.
Ah,
Like, we don't like to do stuff small.
agreed.
That's not a thing. So I would say that's a big word for us.
Well, yeah, let's
Grand.
add some of that stuff before. Are you able to edit right now
Yeah.
in real time? Let's add some stuff to entrepreneurs. So, words I heard were unconventional,
Yeah. It's
maverick.
down here for
Uh,
unconventional wisdom.
great. Then we don't have to use it there. Uh, yeah, add some of your words you just said before that. I love who refuse to do things on a small scale and be another boring brand. That would work. Or who refuse to play it small, or who refuse to do it the way everyone else has already done it.
Okay, for something entrepreneurs who refuse to play it small and be another boring brand.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of throw out there the idea, and again, this is very co-creative, so
Yeah,
just I'm not correcting you or telling you how to do it.
yeah. Gosh, don't worry about it, Rebecca.
But we could say for grand brands
Oh, I
and
love that.
magic and maverick entrepreneurs, or we could just say for grand brands and focus on the brand itself. Although, and the people who love and the entrepreneurs who love them. I'm just thinking out loud.
For grand brand.
and the maverick entrepreneurs who love them, or the bold, the bold baddies. Again, this is
I was
internal.
thinking of the word baddies earlier. I think we're baddies.
Then I would say that for grand brands and bold baddies or something.
You refuse to play it small and okay, hold on a second. Guys, I am literally go away. What the hell are you doing?
This is live, everybody.
I am on a YouTube live.
This is what moms
and on LinkedIn. Get out of the living room now.
This is what moms do. They put down the hammer.
Sorry.
Real. So real.
Okay, for grand brands and bold baddies who refuse to play it small and crave a side of sass with their business advice.
Now, let me stop you right here. The first thing I want to share is this is why we call to consider this internal. We're allowed to use the word baddies. Now, again, once this is done, you're going to see it everywhere because we'll be bursting at the seams with pride about it. But before, when you don't think of it as internal, that word might not come up. So this is that's a reason.
Yeah.
It's a reason we do it. And then the second thing I want to just stop right here, put a pin in that, and call into question, because it is a question. Are we going to continue to be giving business advice? Is that the core of the show? Now, we decided when we did our discovery that the only thing that what people want to watch is quality content, and that it does really need to be entertaining. And so I still think of the Stoned Fruit Roll-Up as like make a better commercial. It doesn't have to be, in your face or boring or pedantic or anything, but if you're creating something people want to watch, it is a better commercial. So are we going to be purely entertainment? Are we going to be all business? Are we still giving out advice? Are we still interviewing people? What are we doing? Question mark.
Well, I think we should still interview people.
Why?
I love that.
Why?
Because Stoned Fruit is really about amplifying other voices and building community. So
is that in here? Is that in here?
No.
Let's make sure that put a note somewhere.
Oh my god.
Okay, keep going though with your thoughts.
Yeah. That really should be in here, you're right.
Why else do you think interviews are important? Everybody does them. And frankly, sometimes they're a crutch. They're a crutch because you don't have your own your own platform to stand on. I'm not saying we do that, and I'm not saying everybody does that. Not all not all interview shows, but interviewing can be just a kind of an easier lift, a safer choice. Are we still doing that? Question mark. I also have reasons why I think they're a good idea.
Yes. I'm locking that in as a final answer, is I definitely believe that it is a good idea. See, in my mind, like, for an interview show, I'm not thinking like a strict like business one, I'm thinking more like Bert Kreischer, The Cabin. If you've ever seen that, where he goes up to like his cabin and like smokes joints all day and has his friends up to talk about things, and it's like a super casual afternoon and they have lots of laughs and lots of fun, but they talk about something important, but there's a lot of like comedy to it.
So what were the words you'd use to describe that versus expert interviews? Because honestly, if I see I'm looking at my phone to illustrate the point. If we ever turn this into a podcast, I'm looking at my phone. Of just like so-and-so on being authentic to attract clients. So-and-so.
No, I hate that word.
On better design for more sustainable campaigns. So-and-so on being the CEO of your own life. Sounds like I'm just feel kind of oversaturated with it. And that does speak to, again, what my earlier share was Jill being like, if anyone's ever done it before, you don't want anything to do with it. And that is kind of my toxic trait of like, well, I've seen it once, so what makes ours unique and special?
I think for us, the thing that makes it more unique and special, I would have to say that you and I both share a big love for like situational comedy.
But not sitcom.
And yeah. So I don't feel like it would be like a super dry, like, here's 5 tips with Morgan to level up your nonsense.
So how would we tell Morgan that she's not to come with the regular old 5 tips bullshit? How are we going to frame this so that the guest understands the quality of the conversation they're about to have, and the audience understands what our vibe is in interviews?
That's a good question. I think a lot of that revolves around, like, obviously our wording. So
literally what we're doing right now.
Yes, figuring it out right now.
I mean, it is hard to put. It's hard to put a qualifier on it. You almost start using, to your earlier example of like, I can only just give you an example. It's like it's Bird in the Cabin. It's Zach Galifianakis Between Two Ferns. It's less Terry Gross, more Jonathan Goldstein. It's like we're just kind of putting other labels on it, which requires other folks to kind of make some guesses with the context. I would love, and this is my kind of challenge to both of us, it doesn't have to happen here, but as we continue to develop out what the positioning is for that show, that we have some sort of name for what kind of conversation that is. More than just quality. I've been using quality conversations, which I'm already now want to insert the jack off motion on, like, okay. Or, unconventional conversations. I don't know that that's it either. Deep and personal. I don't know that that's it either. Although if I had my druthers, I'd get deep and personal. And I think that sometimes a live show will not allow it to happen. So perhaps some of our future roll-ups, the interviews, are pre-recorded just because there's something about the format of live that makes people mask a lot more than the same conversation with the same people on the same platform where it doesn't say live. There's just some safety, some psychological safety there that happens. So,
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, go. Cool.
It did change, though. The audio quality decreased.
My earbuds just died.
Oh,
I am having a hell of a time today.
Well, guess what? It doesn't matter. Does it matter? Sure. But also we're human beings and this is a live show and sometimes earbuds die. And that's just what it is.
Yeah.
We are not AI. We are not generated. Earbuds would never die on the Tesla Robot 74000. Very smart. Throw that mute on. That's what you should do. Host at home. Throw that mute in.
Sorry about
that. Dee 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 dee. Okay, I would challenge us to define what kind of conversations they are. And it doesn't have to be now. I'm just saying, I would challenge us over. Because, look, it would be awesome if we did a 1-hour show that was discovery and a 1-hour show and we nailed our positioning. And we put it all together like a neat little box and put a bow on it and then was like, see you in September. We're going to go work on this. That's great. But in reality, doing the work of brand strategy, it's a lot of kind of thrashing around in the box that you're trying to build to define. So we probably are not going to figure out our magical word of defining defining what kind of conversations our interviews would be. But I do think it would behoove us to do so.
Yeah.
My other thought is something else I'm not seeing here, which doesn't mean it should be there, but I just want to open it up because maybe there's a way to nuance something. Was the idea that came up pretty much ubiquitously during our discovery with Jill and Tony about how we're going to take the direction of the show was around segments, creating segments, an infomercial, hilarious, a the UK all day takeovers maybe become a segment or a full length segment. What did you have, girl? What the hell is that? Maybe best of brand kind of thing. Saturn wants to do a segment on a variety of things as well. So I see variety show, which I do think is a qualifier, but I wanted to ask you if that was still part of our plan, and if it is, how are we describing that?
I had put it in the first one as like a variety
Mm-hmm.
show. I still really like that idea. I think it'll be a lot of fun. It just needs to be set up really well.
I agree.
Like it can't be loosey goosey.
No, and they would have to be because they'd be pre-recorded. So what I'm thinking that the lift will be is every there are five of us at the table. Let's just say that every one of us go and make a different infomercial
Yeah.
that's 30 seconds to 60 minutes, 60 seconds long, and 30 to 60 seconds or 2 minutes or whatever parameters we put on it. And then one day we're running the Saturn one, and one day we're running the Tony one, and one day we're running the Rebecca one day we're running the Kathleen one. And then that we have kind of like this maybe 5 to 7 different segments that we shake up and kind of put across the show. So maybe we have a really powerful. Well, the things I think have been so successful so far, like the reunion shows where there are like 6 or 7 of us on there, and like Ross is running MC, and we all have this wonderful theme. Those I don't want to make only 25 minutes, but maybe someone's interview or show and tell is only 25 minutes. So being kind of basically curating the content and how they'll go 4 to 6 weeks out, not 4 to 6 minutes out, which is how I've been rolling, as you know.
Yeah. I like the words curated content.
Original. I'd love to see original in there. That's our big thing. I think you put voices in here again. Amplifying voices, that's huge. Show and tell, I think, is really probably a very untapped benefit. Like when Jody comes and shows everybody how you can do a PowerPoint like I've never seen anybody do before, and she's showing us how it's done. Amazing. Or Taylor comes and shows us a clip, or we've got someone who's sharing their screen and creating more of an experience.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about the show. I'll say one more thing and then I really will shut up. But
No.
I've been thinking about the show as almost like what happens in a restaurant 10 minutes before the restaurant opens. Like the servers are all down at one end. Or what happens in a restaurant after the restaurant's closed and people from other people. This is actually it's more like, to me, it's more like an industry night where like a bar is known for having an industry night, and other bartenders and waitresses and busboys and chefs and stuff come and hang out, and everybody kind of talks about the business of restaurants. That's what I see the roll-up as being, kind of like the doors are closed, the customers are gone. Now all of us creatives, content producers, writers, videographer, photographers, strategists, business builders, entrepreneurs, all of us come together and kind of like crack a virtual bottle of champagne, because I guess that's what I'd want, and have a fun, just like very industry focused, power. I don't think I'm supposed to use that word anymore. Sorry, cultural appropriations. Vibe event thinking more like an event or a happy hour than
Mm-hmm.
necessarily like a program.
Yeah.
Now I will turn it over to you, Kevin. I'm going to let you lead, and then I'm going to say everything and never let you talk.
Well, no, I agree. Like, I think that's the vibe too. Like, I also worked in restaurants, and at the end of your shift, when everyone closes up and you just sit with the bartender and all your coworkers and sit down and have a drink and shoot the shit and talk about like what's going on and your hot gossip and eat some french fries and
Exactly. And then every once in a while, if you did it right, if you and I were running the restaurant, we'd be like, hey guys, how about every one out of these four we get together every Thursday,
yeah,
at noon? How about if one of those Thursdays I brought a wine rep in and we tasted some wine? How about if we, do you even know what ramps are? I'm talking like obviously hypothetically, but do you ever had ramps or morels? That's
yeah,
all the rage in the springtime. I have somebody who does foraging. They've got a little Instagram account. It's really cool. What if I brought that person in to show us how to forage for, or what to do with ramps and morels? I got this friend so and so. He's the best host I've ever seen. He can seat a restaurant like just so strategically where everybody's happy and making money. Let's bring him in and give us a little 20-minute show and tell on how he does a seating on a Saturday night. Like that kind of vibe, I think, is something people would want to be a part of rather than what we've been currently trying to cultivate that. We just haven't been intentional or organized about it.
yeah. I think show and tell will be a good segment to have. Like that in itself, I think would be less talking to people and having a conversation and more like, hey, this is Becky. She's really badass at all of this stuff. She's going to show you. Here's some friggin' sweet ass tips.
Sweet ass tips. Tips and
Yeah.
ass. That's what I'm for. Let me see those sweet ass tips.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
Is that a kind of thing that you personally, Kathleen Stewart, not as part of Stone Fruit or anything, but you personally, would that be something you would want to check out, even if it didn't? Would you want to check out something that is like, here's Mandy so and so on onboarding a new employee?
No.
Why not?
Because that's boring to me. I have very few hours in a day that I want to focus on business stuff. I don't feel like I want our show to be like a go-to business hot tip type of thing.
Good.
There's
We'd fail miserably with it, I think. I don't have enough business hot tips.
I don't know, but like in general, that's just not a thing I would ever go and listen to or go out and seek.
And I will say that that's where most people start.
Yeah.
And they just don't ever really kind of evolve to the next level. There's a lot of case for business as to why to have a live show or a podcast or a YouTube show or whatever. Just being able to kind of force isn't the right word, but just kind of like imply gravitas of like, oh, client, potential client and lead, that you're so interesting as I submit this proposal. Won't you come on my live show and tell us all about your thing? And then they're like, yay, I'd love to come on your live show and tell me about the thing. And that's the model that I'm saying over and over and over again. It's very beneficial to do that. But I want us to be a show that people actually want to watch. And I'm not saying that folks who take that approach of like Mandy on the top 5, onboarding, whatever, cannot do it. It's just not our vibe. And we're to force us to try and fit into something conventional is just like you and me. We're just not. No. Seen it before? I'm bored.
I actively make things more difficult for myself in general. Like, if I need to learn how to do something, I wouldn't go and look up, like, how do I do this on Google. I will open the program and struggle for 5 hours to teach myself how to do it. So I would have a hard time, like, having those types of segments of just like Mandy in her top 5, because I don't care, because I would never go look that up.
You're making me laugh so hard.
Why?
I'm thinking about my own journey with Kajabi, which has prolific resources
Yeah.
for people from every level, skill level, from beginner to master Kajabian. I don't know if that's a word.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I could have saved myself days upon days upon days of hunt and peck and experiment and fail and frustrate and trying to figure it out. I never once opened a tutorial video. I just taught myself Kajabi, crawling through the freaking glass. And you're really making me laugh, girl, because I could have made it so much easier on myself if I had just been like, how do you start a newsletter from a template and send it to your list? Instead, I have to just like me grog this Kajabi.
No, like the thing for me though is I cannot handle it. Like YouTube videos, I'm like, sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go and look it up on YouTube so someone can show me how to do this, so I'm not wasting my time. I'll make it like 5 minutes in the video and I'm like, well, I hate this.
Yeah.
And I have to close it. Like, I am not like tutorial person. Absolutely not. I will suffer the rest of my life before I suffer through 10 minutes of someone not telling me what I need to know.
Well, I hope we can solve that problem and be more entertaining and still make the business journey less lonely. I do think that that's what we are essentially trying to do for ourselves.
Yeah.
And for other people. Sure, content is king, visibility, blah, blah, blah. Be consistent. All of that, absolutely true. I bow down. However, if we're not creating an environment that just makes the whole lift less lonely and arduous and confusing and unfun,
yeah,
then we'll have accomplished something. If you had a magic wand and could give the roll-up one thing, what would it be?
Children who were quiet during your life.
They did a great job. My children's was so quiet because they're not even in the country. They're in
I know. They're in my country.
Yeah. Getting seasick, by the way. Poor Saturn.
Oh, no.
Tremendously. And can't decide if it's seasickness or food poisoning. It's when they say make or break adventure.
Right.
That's
so good for them.
It is. Ooh. You can do hard things. And I keep saying, you can do hard things.
Yeah. You got it. No, but if I could wave a magic wand for people, I'm trying to think of something different from the last one I said, but I really just think that everybody should learn to be okay with who they are. Like, and just show up the way that you are. Stop trying to be perfect. Stop hiding behind like fake stuff, and honestly just start trying to enjoy things. Everything's a process.
What a beautiful TLDR.
Thank you.
Be yourself, have fun, enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, for sure. If I had a magic wand for the roll-up, it would be production support. Yeah. Somebody who can edit the videos before and after, someone who could stitch together the commercial, somebody who could put together like more than just me clicking go live and like awkwardly turning down music as we do our intro. Like some sort of just kind of higher entertainment value. So that's my magic wand. You heard it here first. Anybody wants to sponsor this new iteration of the show should reach out to me and Kathleen. Of course, smash that like and subscribe button. Come back and see us for our next 2 shows in May. We're hoping to round up some very cool group experiences. And then we're going to take a break starting last Thursday before Memorial Day, all the way up to September 12th, in which Kathleen and I are actually going to work very hard on bringing all this tuition. Stop talking about it. Start being about it. Good job, girl. You get it. Good job.
Like everything like stops working and whatever.
What didn't stop working is the effort that you put into the positioning to begin with. And that's what I'm really saying. Like, great job.
Thank
You gave us so much to work with. Everything had meat on the bone. Please send me that document and I'll make some notes on it and we'll get back together, as we're planning this. Maybe live, maybe not, who knows? And really bring that home so we can start building out the marketing material that I know you're craving that we have in order to give this show its big girl panties.
I'm so excited. I think I'm going to, when we get off this live, I'm going to work on the 4th one.
Okay. I love it. Do 2 more. And I'm not giving you that to give you busy work. I'm saying it because of the way the iterative process works.
Yeah.
My one note I want to see more from is a because why. Why? Because blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
A really simple, easy grab.
About that because I was thinking about that when I was doing them, that there wasn't a real because why. It was more like a soft lead into something that was meh.
Well, true positioning statement needs a because why. The easiest grab is because building a business is a hard job, but you don't have to do it alone. We've seen it 1,000 times, so I'm not saying that's our because only, because Lord knows it's everywhere, and you and I cannot stand the conventional. But something along those lines, we need a because.
Okay, big question though before we sign off on this one.
Yeah.
Is the because why for our audience or for us?
It's for whoever the for is.
Okay.
So if it is for us, and it can be, you could so easily do a positioning statement. We're going over, but we're going to do it. You can so easily do a position that's for Rebecca and Kathleen, who need to not stick a pencil in their neck because they're not being creative.
Mm-hmm.
And cannot stand to do things the way that everybody else does. The Stoned Fruit Roll-Up is the weekly YouTube and LinkedIn live show that delivers accountability to the team, a place to have, to spread your messages of juicy joy, and a platform to sell products, because we won't do it the way anybody else will. You could position it for us internally, easily peasily. One thing I have learned about restaurants, well, sorry, everybody, I'm getting excited. One of the most important things I learned in restaurants was that if the staff is having fun, then everybody wants to be around it. And if the staff is not having fun, then nobody wants to be around it. So if you decided to just position this for Stoned Fruit itself, Rebecca and Kathleen only, and her happy sidekick, or however you do it, that's totally viable, because we create a show that you and I cannot wait to show up for. Other people will. So that's doable. So I would challenge you to do 2 just for funsies, but we need a because.
Okay.
Why?
Okay, cool.
Feel less lonely could be why. Not do it alone could be why. Be entertained could be why. See, no brand deserves to be boring. Live 360, whatever.
Okay.
But you got to put a why in there. You're doing it. Yeah. Try the why, Kathleen Stewart. Try the why.
Okay, cool.
And we will get back together and keep on working. This was fun.
I had a blast.
Yeah.
I got myself.
Well, the more you and I have fun, the more people will actually want to watch. So that's good news.
And then maybe they'll want to work with us.
That's exactly right. If you're at home and you want to have positioning done for you, do not hesitate to reach out to Kathleen.Stewart@stonedfruit.com or Rebecca.Gunter@stonedfruit.com and schedule your positioning workshop so we can do this fun magic for you. I did it. Call to action. Yay. All right. We will see you on next Thursday. You and I will work in between times. And folks at home, maybe you're watching this as part of the Stoned Fruit Roll-Up time capsule. When did it all get great? This was your moment. This is your moment. Until then, friends, next Thursday. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.